Hey everybody, Austin back again with another Let's Play video. This time it's going to be Painkiller, Hell and Damnation for the PC. Now this is actually a game that came out on Halloween 2012 this year, just a couple of weeks ago. And it's one that actually I've been looking forward to for quite some time. Sorry, I've got my camera way over here, my microphone's over here. It's kind of ghetto rigged, so I'm probably not going to be pointing my way at the camera, so you don't hear my voice off camera like that, or echoing off in the distance. I mean, I can't even talk straight. But I've really been looking forward to this game because it's basically, even though the developers say it's not, it's basically a remake of the original Painkiller PC game. Painkiller for the PC is one of my all-time favorite first-person shooters, period. And while this one has some major shortcomings that you're gonna hear me talk about throughout this video, it does a lot of things right, and it really retains a lot of that feel that the original Painkiller PC game had. So basically what I'm going to do here, guys, is play through... This is actually going to be the first time I am going to do this. I'm going to actually chop this Let's Play up into multiple sessions. What I normally like to do is do just one major long hour or 2 hour or 3 hour long Let's Play or long play video. This time I'm going to actually just do one chapter at a time. Now the game's actually divided up into 4 chapters. It's got many less stages than the original game, so the game's not nearly as long as the old game. I think there's only like 14 or 15 stages in this or something like that. In each chapter is only 3 or 4 levels at a time with a boss fight at the end. Each level is probably going to take me 10 minutes to get through though. So when you think about it, the whole game's probably going to take... it's probably about a 4-hour long game, actually. The first night I had it, I finished it in 4 hours, and then the second night I had it, I went back, did it on the harder skill mode, and it was also 4 hours long. So it's not a very long game, not terribly long, but you know, I think it'll be nice actually chopping up this Let's Play into multiple bits and pieces. And for those following me on YouTube, what I'll be doing is, well, you'll see them being uploaded as time goes on. I don't know if I'm going to rush and get this out all 4 parts in 1 week, or if it's going to be a couple month long thing. At the very end, though, what I'm going to do is actually piece them all together. Not piece them all together, but I'm going to make one big long post over at imretroactive.com. Here's the link right there. So go there if you haven't checked it out yet, imretroactive.com. I'll have every single parts there in one piece, so you can watch one, finish it, then go straight to the next if you want. You can sort of, kind of, I don't know, keep track of it that way. So, I don't want to ramble on too much, so let me get comfortable here. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and sign a new pact. Actually, let me go to select a level. Here is the main screen. These are all your stages and so forth. We're going to be going through Chapter 1, and then in each other Let's Play we'll do Chapter 2, 3, 4, and then we'll do the bonus stage, which is a remake of The Factory from the original Painkiller. And then in one of these Let's Plays, I'll do a surprise. I'm not sure which one it'll be. I'll show off the Halloween edition map. Now this was actually a special pre-order bonus I got because I paid for this game a few weeks before it came out. And it's a really, really cool map. But this is your main map screen. If you've played the original Painkiller PC game, you'll notice that the map screen is completely different here. Some people on the Steam forums have really complained about this, but I actually kind of like it. I mean, I really like the original map setup as well. But this is pretty cool. It's nice and clean. It's very easy to figure out what you're doing. If you look at the top of the screen, it shows you your stats for each stage that you select. It tells you what difficulty mode you've played them on, basically. It tells you what cards you can unlock on this level. I'll explain that more as the game goes on for those newcomers. But it's just very clean. I like that. Whereas in the old Painkiller, you had to hover over certain elements on the main map screen to actually bring up your stats and stuff like that. I like how it's displayed up there at all times. It's just very quick and easy to see what you're missing or what you've got or what your best stats are. It's really cool. So, alright, just wanted to go back because I've already basically completed the game multiple times. If you look up here, you'll notice all of them say trauma on difficulty, and trauma is basically the hardest difficulty mode in the game. Actually, I think I was just working on the factory. That was my last one I've yet to do on trauma. And I didn't really focus on that because it was just a bonus stage. I didn't really care. I went through the entire normal game on trauma mode, though. As you can see, every stage has been completed on the hardest skill mode. Alright, so let's go ahead and sign a new pact. Yeah, sure, why not? I don't really care. Do you want to play the tutorial map? Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this because I've never done this before. This is going to be something that we're both going to sort of experience for the first time together. And, oops, too late. I went ahead and put it on trauma mode anyway. So I guess we're going to be playing through the game on the hardest mode. Now, this is actually something I did not do when I first got the game because I was like, I already know how to play Painkiller. It's, you know, it's freaking Painkiller. So... okay. Ooh, this is gonna be interesting playing this because it's kind of choppy on my end. It's not as smooth as it normally is because I'm running fraps in the background to record this footage. It's definitely a little bit slippier. It's a little more slippery. Can't even talk straight again, which is kind of weird. It's going to take some time to get used to. Actually, it's going to take a lot of time to get used to, I'm sure. Because I've never recorded this game with fraps before. Actually, I did a little test last night just to make sure it actually works. So... for those that have never played Painkiller, basically how the game is set up is it's like Doom. You go from point A to point B, you kill lots of enemies. However, there's not really any key collecting or anything like that in Painkiller. You're just kind of thrown into areas, a bunch of enemies come out, you try to survive, you kill everything you see. And then at the top of the screen, where there's that sort of upwards pentagram, it'll actually tell you where to run after you've killed all the enemies. And basically each area is sealed off with this red glowing pentagram, which is your checkpoint. And it basically just guides you on where to go. And it's cool. I like it. I like the simplicity of Painkiller. Painkiller really shines in its simplicity, and it's just really tight, really satisfying combat. It's action in this game. The basic first-person shooter action is just, it's great. And I love the environments too. They're just really cool. Let me see if I can just escape out of this because I really don't care all that much. So let's go to return to main menu. I'm too busy talking, so I'm not even really focusing on it. So let's go to sign a new pact again. No tutorial map. Alright, we're on the cemetery. If you look at the top, it tells you your card unlocking status. Now, let me explain that real quick before I go any further for those newcomers again. In Painkiller, one of the other really unique features about the game was that you can unlock these cards. If you look in the top right hand corner of the screen, it says card unlocking status, beat the level. So in order to unlock my first card, I just had to beat the first stage, which is really nothing. That's not difficult at all. If you look down here, oops, sorry, go back. If you look down here at the bottom of the screen, this is Black Tarot. You can click on that, and basically cards you get will appear on this screen, and you can equip them, and they'll provide you stat upgrades, they'll provide you item uses, and things like that. The silver cards that you see in the bottom, they are always active so long as you've got them equipped. So I've always got double the ammo in the ammo boxes equipped, and then increase my initial base health to 150. Normally you start off with 100 health, but this upgrades it to 150 right off the bat. Now, these gold cards, you can use them once per stage, unless you get a card where... doop, 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 doop. Where you can equip this silver card, and it allows you to use your gold cards twice per level. I think there's one that you can get where you can even use your gold cards 3 times per level. And that's really significant because if you look at it, this card is for dexterity. Your weapons reload twice as fast. So basically you fire twice as fast. Iron Will is enemies cannot hurt you. You're invincible. And then Furies deliver 2 times more damage. It's kind of like, well, it's like double damage in other games. You're doing twice the damage. Kind of like quad damage in Quake, but not as powerful. So you fire twice as fast, you do twice as much damage, and you're invincible. It's a pretty good combination. Now, if you didn't want to say go invincible, you can do triple haste, where the world moves 8 times slower. I'm going to do that one just for now. You got speed, it'll speed you up. A time bonus, your golden cards last 10 seconds longer. When you use your gold cards, they only last a few seconds. They last like, I want to say like 15 or 20 seconds or something like that. Maybe it's a little bit longer. I think it's actually a little bit less. But, so you can equip this card, which will make your cards last 10 seconds longer, which is really good for boss fights. These cards come into great use on boss fights. And you'll see that actually as I get to the first boss in the game. Endurance, take only half the damage, and I think that's actually the first card you get from the very first level. So, because it looks like I've already got the cards, it let me keep all my cards. I'm not going to be trying to go for the level goals, so there's not really any point. So, alright, let me quit rambling and let me start playing. Trauma mode, hardest mode of the game, and here's the story mode. The story actually takes place... It takes place after the original Painkiller and the original Battle Out of Hell expansion. Now, I think it also technically takes place after the other additions to the series that weren't made by the original studio, which was People Can Fly. Overdose was the first one, then there was like Resurrection and Redemption and blah blah blah. And I think what this new development studio is trying to do is sort of combine all that together. So while most of the levels are a remake,
I've been dead for
it's like an amalgamation of the other stories, and it's actually a continuation of all that, which is kind of interesting. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this story. It's kind of... I liked the simplicity of the original, I liked the execution of the original,
but even someone like me
but
gets
this
a
is
chance.
just...
For a moment,
I don't know, I don't want to spoil too much. Well, it's going to get spoiled because I'm recording it, but... I kind of didn't care for how they like tried to tie it all together and continue the story after the originals. I felt a straight up remake of the first two being the original game and the original expansion. I think would have been nice, especially with these full motion video upgrades. The FMV looks a lot better now. So
I don't know what happened to Catherine. She deserved a better
now, I was
place.
talking all over that, so you probably didn't get to read that. Basically what happens is you play as Daniel Garner, and him and his wife or his girlfriend, they go out for the night, they get into a car accident, and they both are basically killed instantly.
Angels and demons.
Now, this is a game that revolves around the belief that there's a heaven and there's a hell and there's purgatory and stuff like that, which I'm not a very religious person or anything like that. I've always been more spiritual than religious. So, this takes the notion that, you know, there is a god and a devil and blah, blah, blah. You're basically cast into purgatory, and that's where this game takes place. And, it's the story kind of, you know, unravels itself and blah blah blah, and but I like the execution of, you know, the original story. It's more about him trying to get back into heaven, and that's kind of like what this is too, but there's this main character here that is trying to sort of manipulate you as you go through the game, and it's just... I don't think this story is really going to appeal as much to fans of the original game, but for new people, it might be fine.
I've heard that
so.
before.
Collect 7 legions of souls for me, and you'll meet your...
Now this guy's basically telling Daniel that he wants to have him kill 7,000 enemies and gather 7,000 souls. And souls are actually something that was really a main staple of the original Painkiller. After every enemy died, they would drop a soul, and you could pick them up. Souls would add to your health, they would build, and for every soul you get, your health points would boost by 1, so you can gradually gain your life back. 2, after you got 66 souls, kind of like 666, you would turn into a demon, because with you being in purgatory, you have demonic powers now and stuff like that, that obviously you didn't have on Earth or whatever. don't really care that much. But it was really cool. It was fun turning into the demon. You just kind of blow everything away. And I can still do this on trauma mode on this game, which is something you could not do on the hardest skill mode in the original Painkiller. But this guy is a new character for this game, Hell and Damnation, and he gives you this weapon that can, like, gather these souls. And this is actually a brand new weapon in the game. It wasn't in the original Painkiller, so that's what this is right here. I believe it's called the Soul Catcher. And it does a couple of different things. For one, it shoots out these sort of razor blade things. If you look at the gun, it's got these blades around it, which is really cool. The ammunition's in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, and it kind of arcs a little bit. It's kind of interesting. Now, it's got a secondary attack that's actually unlimited. It's the right mouse button attack, and it's got this sort of really short range laser. It sort of attaches on the enemies as you get closer. It just zaps them like a lightning bolt. Constant stream of electricity, I mean. And it's good. It's unlimited. I can just run around with this. What it can also do, though, is grab souls and bring them back to you. And this weapon actually has another ability, which is really cool, is if you grab enough souls, all these eyes in the skulls on the gun will actually basically light up. And when you do that, if you hold the right mouse button out and then hit the left mouse button, which I can't do it right now because it's not full, you'll shoot a burst out, a green glowing burst, and if it hits enemies, it'll actually possess them, and the enemies will start attacking on your side. Now, this is actually a really crucial gameplay element in this game that wasn't in the original, and this game kind of revolves around that. Now, the original Painkiller had a weapon called the Painkiller, and I will get it. I don't know how to get it on this level. It's in this level, but I don't know how to get it. I will get it on the second stage, though. You know, the original Painkiller revolved around a weapon called the Painkiller. It's a badass weapon in the first game. Not such a good weapon in this game. But this game changes that, and it revolves more around this Soul Catcher. And the story revolves around the Soul Catcher as well. That big Grim Reaper looking dude wants me to capture 7,000 souls with this weapon. He gives me this new weapon that the original Painkiller was not based around. So I don't even know where I was going with that. So let's go ahead and get into the action, guys. In this game, you start off with the shotgun and the Soul Catcher. And there's your first boss, which is kind of cool. He doesn't walk around in the original Painkiller like that. He's nowhere to be found until you get to him for the first time. So that's definitely one of the sort of changes that I really like in this version of the game, or this remake. Again, the developers actually have stated that this is not a remake, but it's a remake. Don't listen to them. Whatever they say, it's a freaking remake. I'm playing at the same stages I was playing at before. It's a remake. Okay, it's not a brand new game. Parts are new, parts are different, but it's a remake. Developers would try to tell you it's not, but it is. So it's a good remake too. I think it's solid. It's solid. It's better than I really expected it would be, because the Painkiller series has been on steady decline for the last, basically since Overdose. Alright, so in the first game, the original Painkiller, the shotgun was actually in this area, so you only started off with the Painkiller weapon, but this game basically gives you the shotgun right off the bat, as well as the Soul Catcher. Now, this game has a few glaring problems. For one, the hit detection is kind of weird. Like, it'll look like the enemies aren't touching you, but they do. Like, I just got hit twice. It didn't even look like I got hit there. So, in order to sort of get around that, it's really good to use the Soul Catcher, because it's kind of an overpowered weapon. If you use the blade, it can chop through multiple enemies. Like, I'll cut through multiple guys here. Yep, just went through 2 of them. You can go through 3 or 4 enemies at once. See if I can do it again. Bam. 2 enemies in one shot. Now I'll just absorb onto these guys. Now, if you notice, the skulls, they are actually glowing now, which means I can possess some guys, but I'm gonna wait. I really don't have a need to do it, because these guys are pretty easy so long as you stay back. Ah, screw it, what the hell. Oh, I missed. That was bad. But it doesn't matter because his weapon's kind of overpowered. I just sliced through like 6 enemies with 2 shots. So, not that bad. Or it's a little overpowered, I guess I meant to say. Now, another gameplay element this game has is that you get money, and currently I only have $20. It doesn't really matter because I still have the money I had from when I first played the game. It carried over. But you can destroy objects. Like here you've got all these coffins that you can destroy. They always drop gold. And once you get the painkiller weapon, there's also ways to sort of extract more money from enemies by juggling them with it. And I'll show you what I mean by that on the next stage. Man, my mouse cord is getting tangled up too. There's a witch. Now this is one thing you're going to see me doing a lot for the rest of this playthrough is bunny hopping. This game kind of revolved around bunny hopping. It wasn't necessary in the very first Painkiller, but it was very useful. You could speed up big time. There we go, I possessed a skeleton, he's turned green. And a lot of the enemies will just go after them, which is great. One of the problems I have with this game is that they've really sped up a lot of the enemies. Some enemies, they're going to be these sword and shield guys that come out that are almost too fast. They're actually a lot faster than they are in the original Painkiller, which even with bunny hopping, it's hard to get away from them. So that's where possessing sort of comes into play, combined with bunny hopping. I have 64 souls, so when you collect 66, you turn into your demon, and what I want to do is get them when I want to turn into a demon when there are a lot of enemies coming my way. Which there aren't right now. It would be stupid to grab those souls, turn into the demon, and just waste it. So I'm going to go ahead and get past this part. Guys are going to come out right here, just like that. One of the things I don't like in this game is that, I don't know how to put it, like the theatrics of everything is really toned down. Like in the first Painkiller, the guys literally, they fly up from the ground, but it's kind of slow, and it's really cool. But in this, they're just like up, down, and they're coming after you right away, and it's just, the effect is kind of worn off. If you look at some videos of this first stage, you can see exactly what I mean. So that's where this game is definitely flawed compared to the original Painkiller, which is a shame. But, you know, it's still good. I wouldn't worry about it too much. What I want to do is try to kill some of these guys first, and then turn into the demon. Again, I'm skipping through. There's this part which gets a little bit trickier, but what I want to do is, the game's going to take me over into here, and it's going to throw me back, and this main area is where, like, the biggest fight is, and that's where I want to turn into a demon. So what I'm going to be doing is try to kill enemies, and I'm going to also try to make sure that I don't pick up any other souls if I can avoid it. Shit, I'm getting close to it. Oh, crap, 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 no! Ah! I used the secondary attack, and like I said, Using the secondary attack will grab the souls and bring them to you, which is not what I wanted to do. But now you get a taste of the demon mode. Basically, enemies are in red, orange, red, whatever. There's kind of like a heat detector. And basically it's one-hit kills on just about anything you see. You just hold the left mouse button in, it keeps firing, and you go to town on the enemies. Alright, so here's the next section, and then there's only 2 more sections after this, if I recall correctly. Now, it actually did not look like I got hit, but I did. If you look at my health, I'm down to 6 health now, which is pretty damn awful. But I used my golden cards, and if you notice, the world is super slow now. Here's the original painkiller right there. I don't know how to get it. Alright, so I'm going to do this next part and just hope I don't really die. Now there is some health back here, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get that. And there's a Necro Giant again. Shit. I died. And that's the thing that is the most annoying about this remake, is that it's set up to where it doesn't look like you get hit by enemies, but you do get hit by enemies. So let's go to load last checkpoint. You have to click it and then hit enter, or click it a second time. So I've only got 6 health. I've already used my cards, which I really should have saved. I don't know why. Oh, I probably used them because I was running out of health already. So let's see if I can do this again. I'll be trying to play it safe. As safe as I possibly can. What I'm going to be trying to do is possessing these guys, which it's full now. Shit! God! Fuck, man! One more time. I hate dying when I'm recording. It's a terrible feeling, because I know it's boring for you guys. I don't want to die over and over. It's one of my least favorite things doing when I'm doing these videos. And recording fraps in the game running at a slower speed. Normally it runs at about 60 frames a second. Now I'm playing it at a little less than 30. It's tough. So stay in the corner, play it safe. Instead of trying to flow. Those dudes cut through. Was not expecting that. I have to be careful about that. Alright, possessed him, which is good. Try to get more of these. That way I can possess another guy. Let's get the souls from these dudes. See, I've got 60 shots left on this weapon, so I mean, I've got... Oh, I missed! It's like a kick in the balls, man. Missing with the possess function is just... Because when you shoot your possess function out, it takes like another 5 or 6 souls leeching. You have to leech the souls, I believe. I don't think you can just run into them. It takes like another 5 or 6 of those in order to get it back to do it again. So what would have been ideal was to save it and use it in this next room. I'm gonna need it. So let's see how this pans out. I predict it's not going to pan out too well. Not too terribly well. Now, unfortunately, possessing certain enemies like this guy just does not work. Which kind of sucks, because it would be nice to just possess it and get it over with. Like, I just shot it at him, hit him, didn't do anything. Alright, I still got it. Alright, let's get the hell out of here. The next level should be a little bit better, I think. The first level... When I first played this game, I actually didn't like it all that much because they added in those running skeletons and they weren't in the original game. And they're fast, and with the hit detection, where they swing at you and it looks like they completely whiff. No, they still hit you. So that makes it really frustrating. And then they throw the sword and shield guys at you. They run even faster, and they run way faster than they do in the first game. So it really ruins the pacing of the original first level. This is supposed to be like a nice, calm, easy first stage in the game. You know, it's supposed to just sort of... It's supposed to be like the training stage for the game. Simple as that. And the nice thing about the original Painkiller is that it eased you through the difficulty slowly progressed. It got really hard by the end of the game, but, you know, halfway through the game, it was getting tough. It was a lot harder than the beginning, but it wasn't, like, super challenging. This one, it just starts off really hard. It's like, it ruins that pacing. That's one of my least favorite parts about this game. Now, after this stage, this is actually like the third or fourth level in the original Painkiller. They throw this as the second stage in the game. And what's interesting is the third stage in this is actually the second stage in the first Painkiller. So you go through kind of a tough stage with the enemy modifications on this game. Then you go to this one, which is kind of challenging too, sort of. And then they throw you back to the original stage 2, which has barely been changed, and it's much easier. So it goes from hard to easy, and it's the pacing in this version of Painkiller it could have definitely been worked on a lot. So... And that's one of my favorite aspects of the original game as well. It was just paced so well. So here's the original Painkiller weapon. You're not going to see me really using this at all in this game because, to be honest, I don't think it's all that good in this one. The actual Painkiller itself, you can use the right mouse button to bring it out. It comes out slower than it does in the original game. And it also kind of like wiggles when it comes out. It just feels kind of weird. So what I'm going to be doing is just using the Soul Catcher again. Because the Painkiller, while it's unlimited, so is the Soul Catcher when I'm using the secondary fire. Painkiller can't cut through multiple enemies at once, so use the Soul Catcher, you know? Here. 2 guys, let's just kill... Oh, I missed. I was going to say let's just kill them all in one hit. Right. Alright, got both those guys in one hit, so... There you go. Yep, got one possessed. So I'm just gonna jump around, try to go for the ammunition while they're duking it out. I think there's some ammo around here, yep. Now I've got the card equipped where I can double the ammo in the ammo boxes, so I mean... You know, this playthrough on Trauma is going to be a little bit easier than playing on Trauma originally was. Actually, no, that's not true, because I beat the game on Nightmare the first time I played it. So when I went to go play it on Trauma, I still had all the cards. So, this is what it was like when I first played it on Trauma. These are your ammunition for your Soul Catcher. So, always want to grab those because they're just... The Soul Catcher is such a good weapon in this game. It's really too good. It's, you know, I think they really should have thought about maybe tweaking a lot of the old weapons because the Soul Catcher is so good, you end up running through most of the game with it. Oh, whoa, watch out for that. See, 2 enemies, 1 shot. Can't do that with the shotgun. You definitely can't do it with the stake gun. I gotta be a little more careful because my health is already down to 70, which, you know, it's just me making dumb mistakes. I'm not paying attention. I'm also not playing nearly as quick as I normally do. And the main reason for that is just the game is feeling very sluggish to me right now because of the whole frame rate. Recording fraps and playing the game at the same time is really lowering the frame rate for me. It's making the response time much higher. Everything's feeling kind of laggy to me. So what I'm going to do is try to possess some guys, and they're going to go after that big dude. There we go. Now this is sort of like a mini-boss. The original mini-boss from the original Painkiller has been changed a little bit. Originally it was just like this really big ogre dude. Now it's kind of like just the first guy you saw on the first level at the end, except he's huge now. He does this move where he can basically stomp the ground, and if you're touching the ground, he will hurt you. So, and he moves really damn fast. So, watch out for that. Let me grab these souls so I can get my possess function back. Let's possess these dudes. Yep, got one. Whoa, that hurt. That hurt a lot. Oh, come on, man! Not paying attention. Not paying attention at all. So let's do this again. Ah, screw it. Using my cards, using my cards. Not working. Alright, he's gone. Now, one thing I haven't done is really bind any weapons to any keys or anything like that. It's something I really should have done, but the game is paced to the point where you can really just take your time and scroll around through the weapons. It's not as big a deal as it was in, say, like Quake or something like that. Now, if you get into the multiplayer, I think it's really important to have your weapons bound so you can, you know, you can swap weapons the fastest. Because in, well, deathmatch multiplayer play, part of the skill is, you know, being wise about your weapon selections and sometimes, you know, switching at the right time, you know? Getting your enemy's health down a little bit and then quickly switching to the rocket launcher without having to scroll through, you know, your whole weapon bank. So, I know one thing I would do in Quake 3 is I would sit back from a distance sometimes, you know, get guys' health down a little bit, you know, just by chipping him with the shotgun, and then I'd just quickly switch over to the railgun. I'd have it bound to a separate key, and then hit them, and, you know, they'd be gone. So, you know, there's different sets of tactics involved through binding your keys to having sort of custom weapon configurations, things like that. So, not so important in the single player portion of this game. You can just kind of linger back. You can just take your time, scroll up and down slowly, kind of like that. Not a big deal in this game. I thought there was ammunition around here, but I don't really... Oh, actually there's some shotgun shells. I want to go ahead and get those. I'm not going to try to explore all the stages either. Like, you can go through all these hallways, and there's a bunch of different ammo chests and things like that, and I don't really care all that much. Since I died a bunch of times, I kind of want to get through this a little bit quicker now. Shotgun has a really cool, really cool secondary attack where you throw out a freeze bullet and it'll freeze an enemy, like so. You can go up to them and break them to pieces. Unfortunately, the effect isn't as cool in this one as it was the original Painkiller, but it's still a nice secondary attack to have. Especially later on in the game, there are these enemies that take several hits. They probably take between 5 and 10 hits. But you can kill them in one hit by using the freeze bolt on them, which is really nice. These cloaked dudes, you don't want to touch their red stuff. It's kind of like temporary poison. It's just really bad. Stay away from it. On the next stage, there's going to be similar guys that actually have a sort of a blue version of it, and the blue version will actually freeze you, which is really sucks. So, just got hit. Love the music in this game. I love the music in this game for one, well, main reason is half the music in this game was reused from the original Painkiller, and I thought the original Painkiller soundtrack was awesome. It was a really good soundtrack. Simplistic rock and metal. It fit the game very well, though. It was awesome. This remake just reuses most of that music. They add some new tunes in. Some of the new tunes, they're good. They're alright, actually, I should say. They don't mesh as well with the old tunes. I don't like how you have this mixture of old style music and new style music. I kind of wish they either went for like either just reusing the entire original soundtrack or making a completely new soundtrack. Like all or nothing, basically. Or what they could have done is hired on some remixers or something like that, or just get some guys that are just fans of the original game to remix the music. How they might have been able to do it for free, you know. Just do a complete remix soundtrack of the original Painkiller music. That would be pretty badass. So, music-wise, the game is kind of. They kind of went for, they kind of got lazy, I should say, so. There are some nice touches, though, visual-wise. Like, I really like how they introduced the Necro Giant throughout your stages. That is pretty cool. They don't do that in the original Painkiller. You don't even know there's a Necro Giant until you get to him your first time. He's the first boss in the game. So it's really cool that he's just sort of taunting you and chasing you through these stages. It's really, really cool. And I still don't know how to get that. There's green and red glowing thing up there, and that actually gives you a lot of health, which is really good. Kind of like a mega health. Don't know how to get that. Could never get to it in the original one either. So, but this is health, and I'm maxed out at the moment, so it's all good. Oh yeah, the secret area. I forgot about this. This is something I actually discovered just the other day. I was never really like a secret carnosaur or anything like that in the original Painkiller. Like, I found some secrets, but it wasn't anything like crazy or anything like that. So certain secrets like that, I actually had no idea existed until just the other day when I was playing this game. So there are some secrets in Battle Out of Hell I purposely went and got walkthroughs for, though, because, for instance, on Looney Park, the original Battle Out of Hell had a goal where you couldn't... It was something like you couldn't kill any more than like 88 enemies or something like that. And in order to actually achieve that goal, on the final portion of the stage, you were riding a roller coaster. You were stuck. You had to go on the ride and get hit by certain enemies and whatnot. In order to meet the goal, you had to basically tank your way through the last portion of the level. Meaning you couldn't really kill anything. There was a couple enemies you had to kill because you ran into them and they died by default. But in order to do that, you had to have enough life and armor. And to do that, there was actually a secret towards the beginning of the stage that I had no idea about. And I found it through a sort of a video walkthrough. And so there are some secrets like I found that way, just through trying to achieve some of these goals. I had to have high health and high armor, and finding these secrets definitely helped in that regard. And yeah, that was a tangent. Trying to really focus. Definitely not used to doing Let's Plays of first-person shooters. Especially kind of intense ones, so... Alright, and my mouse is getting caught up again. These are sort of jump pads right here. They appear throughout the game, but they play a bigger part in the Battle Out of Hell expansion. And I don't even remember if that jump pad was actually there in the original game. Definitely don't remember, so... Alright, we're basically at the end now, so we got a stream of enemies coming from behind me now. Always watch out for that because they come down the stairs. And that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and just get hit by this. Alright. So we got 2 more stages. I think this is the... What stage is this? Doesn't even tell me what stage it is. Alright, who cares? Ah, bring my cord out. Jeez, quit getting stuck. You guys are probably like, why aren't you on a wireless mouse? Well, I don't know. I don't like putting batteries into my mice, and, you know. It's a good reason, right? I don't like putting batteries into my mice. Also, I found that on some wireless mice, the response rate it doesn't feel as responsive as a wired mouse does to me. Granted, I've only used, you know, relatively cheap wireless mice, so if you have experience with much more expensive wireless mice, let me know. I mean, it might be a worthwhile investment for me. I just don't like putting batteries in my mice. Granted, I guess you can get the ones that charge up, but... yeah, I don't know. Really should just use the Painkiller because it's not all that hard. One of the coolest things with the Painkiller, though, is I'll show you this on the last enemy. Right here. You can juggle them with the Painkiller. Oops. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Ah. Bastards. See, there's a Necro Giant again. That is so cool. That's awesome. That's one of the things that is just awesome about this game. And some of these features I'm not even noticing until this playthrough. Like, I didn't know he appeared there the first time I played the game. So that is really cool. I was just too busy focusing on the action. And the first time I played the game, I was focusing on getting all the cards too. Making sure that I got basically, not really the achievements, just the card unlocking statuses complete. That way I got the cards. Having the cards on hand makes the game a lot easier. Makes it much easier. Oops, I'm getting hit somehow. I really hope they fix the weird hit detection issues on a new patch. Because, man, it's annoying getting hit by enemies that, you know, doesn't even look like they hit you. And that, my friends, is an example of the Soul Catcher being way too overpowerful. That was like three shots, and I just wiped out all those enemies. And again. Way too powerful, guys. God, I gotta be more careful. I'm gonna die. I'm too busy trying to show off and talk. When I play by myself, I usually play really faster, but I also play smart. So it's like, I don't die that often when I play by myself. But now that I'm talking, I'm just kind of goofing around. I'm like, let's see how many guys I can chop through in one go. That one was like, let's see how many guys I can blow up in one go. Alright. It is really annoying having laggy controls though. It's so annoying. You can always use the barrels as weapons. I mean, if enemies are chasing you and they huddle around a barrel, shoot the barrel. You know, one shot to kill them all versus 5 or 6 shots to kill them all. It's a good way to conserve your ammunition. So, and it's stylish. I always like blowing enemies up with nearby barrels. It's always a good feeling. Ever since the original Doom, I mean, Doom was the first game I ever played that had explosive barrels like that, and in some stages in Doom, some stages were even designed around the barrels. So I mean, you'd walk into a room, there'd be 7 barrels, and they'd all sort of be domino chained to each other. Just my favorite part of the track. They'd just be chained to each other, and you'd walk into a room, hit the barrels, and you'd kill all the enemies, and it's just, I liked that, and I like it in this game too. The barrels are just really fun to blow up. Just don't be near them. God, I love the music in this game. It's old. It's like 2004 now. That's when the music was made. Actually, it's probably made a little bit before that, but the original Painkiller was made or released in 2004, so... There we go, I got some freeze attacks. I was hoping there'd be some health, but, We're really towards the end of this stage already, guys. This is not a long level at all, so... The goal in this stage, actually, for the card, is to beat the level in under 7 minutes. And that was actually kind of tough to do the first time, because... the AI kind of sucks in this game. And sometimes enemies don't spawn out fast enough, so what happened the first time, actually the first 2 times I was playing this, I wasn't able to get the card because in that last room, the enemies that were supposed to come out didn't spawn out in time. I was just, one enemy was spawning out every now and then, which made it really difficult to actually beat the stage in time. It's like probably a glitch. They probably weren't supposed to come out that slow, but they did, and it kind of sucked. So now you see how I'm just really kind of calm right here. Just hit, hit, hit. I'm not really missing all that much. All that much. That's what I really loved about the first Painkiller. It was a very methodical shooter. If you took your time and you just aimed and shot, you could really, really succeed pretty well. You didn't have to be like Serious Sam where you're bolting all over the goddamn place because there's kamikaze enemies coming at you at all times. It was just a little more methodical. I like that a lot about Painkiller, and I think that's one of its most endearing factors. Is it's just a joy to play. It controls very well, and I have one more hit left, and that's it. Too busy talking, not paying attention. I should have really used invulnerability and not 8 times slowdown. So what I'm going to do is actually change that after this level. Is I'm going to switch it to invulnerability. Let's see if I can get my souls up too. That way on the next section I can get 1 soul, go invincible, and hopefully be safe. Because it's just one more room I have to go through, and it's probably not going to happen. Oh, got some health. Nice. I'm up to 26 now. Alright, one more enemy. He got splattered. Such a great game. Let me see if there's anything over here. Aside from barrels. Nothing else, just barrels. The stake gun I don't find as good in this one as it is in the first one. I mean, it does about the same thing, same damage, but the stakes seem to go a little bit... I don't know if it's just me, maybe it's that goofy trail behind them, but the stakes seem to go a little bit slower in this one. And then what's also kind of funny is you notice the stake gun is actually angled to the right, or from the right. The stakes actually come out dead center beneath the crosshair, so it looks kind of goofy when you shoot them out. Alright, so let's see if I can do this without dying. And if I can actually hit the damn enemies. Just trying to get the soul so I can turn invincible. Oh crap, I got hit by their... I keep hearing noises. I keep thinking someone's come up behind me. There we go, invincible. Now hopefully I can kill all these enemies. Yep, got him. And that's it. The camera was like when a camera goes out of focus. That's funny. You see that a lot on YouTube. People's camcorders just going wop, wop. So annoying. Turn the autofocus off, people. It's just a click of the button. My autofocus is off right now. I learned that one pretty quickly. Alright, so what I'm going to do is take off triple haste. I want Iron Will. Every time you place a card, it uses money. Hey, I got a text message. Nope, got an email. Captain Commando NZ has subscribed to you on YouTube. Thanks, dude, if you're watching. Alright, Iron Will. So that's it. Now we're at... This should be the Necro Giants. And one of the other really unique things about the original Painkiller was that the bosses were huge. I had never seen really anything like it in a first-person shooter before. Well, not counting Serious Sam, but just the way the first Painkiller executed the bosses was excellent. It was great. Again, the gameplay was more methodical than other first-person shooters I had played before. So, even the boss fights were really methodical as well. This boss fight, in order to get the card, you have to beat him in under 2 minutes. And in order to do that, you get cards, and you use them, especially double ammunition and double your rate of fire, and you just wail on the boss like that. Now he's gonna break his chains loose. I've really got to get away now. He does this tornado thing. Ah, got him just in time. In this one, the tornado thing isn't as violent as it is in the first game. But in the first game, if you get sucked up by the tornado, you are done. It's like, you're dead. He flies you up so high into the sky, and once you hit the ground, you're gone. In this one, though, it's not as bad. Unfortunately, he seems to be larger in this one, and the arena doesn't seem to be quite as big, and his tornado will always hit you. In the first game, you could at least get to the other side of the arena, and his tornado that comes out, you can avoid it. You can't really avoid it in this one, at least not that I found so far. So I think they might have made his model larger. I think that's probably what it is. I think the level size is probably about the same, but the boss I think is just bigger. So,
sorry to let you down.
You didn't. Lucifer was cheating.
Gambling? Even death has a weakness?
Harmless whim. In the end, I always win.
now this portion, you know, that story a little bit goes, and this actually teaches you how to possess enemies. Unfortunately, they really should have taught you at the beginning of the game, because it makes life a lot easier, especially on that first cemetery stage. They can't even kill you. That's hilarious. Oh, man.
I tried to warn you. He can't be trusted.
I trusted you once. You betrayed me. When I defeated the devil, you wanted to take over his throne.
I'm just a lone soul, condemned to eternal purgatory. I made a mistake. He's not telling you the whole truth.
And you will...
Daniel,
Yeah, that's what I thought. You're just an ordinary lying bitch.
I forgot that John St. John actually does the voiceover for Daniel, the main character in the game, and I totally forgot about that. John St. John is also Duke Nukem for those that don't know. But he's done a lot of voice work as far as I know. But yeah, very cool that the guy from Duke Nukem does the voice in Painkiller as well. So, what to do next? Main menu. As I said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and just wrap it up here. I will do Chapter 2 sometime in the near future. Probably near future, because this is still a relatively new game for me. I've only had it for about a week now. Finished it twice in 2 days after I got it, and I was playing it again 2 nights ago. So we've gone through all of Chapter 1. And what we'll do is next time we'll go through Chapter 2. Maybe we'll go through the Halloween map. Maybe. We'll see. And yeah, like I said, we'll just do a chapter at a time. So it's been about, wow, man, it's been an hour and 6 minutes. It would have been a lot less had I not died like 10 times. Sorry about dying, guys. That kind of sucked. But again, recording with Fraps, everything is just kind of laggy. Like, the screen will move like wah, wah. It's hard to describe, but instead of being like really quick and fluid, it feels like I'm kind of moving in water a little bit. It was weird. So if I had a slightly more powerful computer, maybe not so much a more powerful computer, I think I still have a decent processor. If I had more modern memory, I'm still on DDR2 800, and if I had like say 16 gigabytes of DDR3 like 1066 or higher or something like that, I think the game would run much more fluid. Likewise, if I had a better video card, my video card's about 3 years old now. I think it's 3. It's either 2 or 3 years old. It's a Sapphire Radeon 4890, so it's older now. It's 1 gigabyte card, Vapor X. So my computer, it's not top of the line, but I think if just a few things like more modern memory, which I can't do right now because my motherboard it's old. It only supports DDR2 800. And the reason it does is because when I upgraded my CPU and whatnot, I wanted to reuse the memory because I always upgrade my computers piece by piece. I don't just go out and buy a brand new computer. It's easier for me to just upgrade it bit by bit. So the next step in my upgrading will probably be a new case, a full-size tower with better cooling, and then a new motherboard so I can finally upgrade my RAM to more modern day standards. The video card should suit me for a while. It still runs Crysis perfectly and things like that. So Unreal Engine 3 games, I think the Unreal Engine 3 is just very resource intense. This game probably should run better for what it is, actually, now that I think about it. But Unreal Tournament 3 runs perfectly on this computer, so maxed out everything. So, but this game doesn't. I'm actually running this at 1024 by 768 right now, I believe. Let me double check. Options, video options, advanced video. Oh crap, I'm running it at 1680 by 1050. That's why it's a little bit choppier when I'm running Fraps. I meant to turn it down to 1024, but hey, the video quality is going to be better for you guys, and I guess that's what matters. So I have VSync turned off, so everything's on high. Everything can go to very high, but I have it just on high, so graphics could look a little bit better in this game. I do have a couple disappointments with the visuals department, though. I noticed on some later stages, like Looney Park, it looks like they literally just took the graphics textures from the original game and just plastered them on the models, and so you don't have all those like nice bump mapping effects and whatever new texture effects they have these days. I haven't really been following it too much, but I remember back in the day bump mapping was a big deal because it actually looked like, you know, stone surfaces actually looked like they had ridges, and you know the light kind of reflected off of them, and that was a big deal back then. And but it seems like this scene right here looks pretty cool. This was created just for this game, and it looks great. Everything's textured very well. Everything looks very three-dimensional. But some of the remade stages, it just looks like, you know, they meshed the old graphics with the new graphics and just kind of did like a mishmash kind of podge job on it. Just not great, but it's suitable. This game's only $20 for anyone that's curious. So I mean, it's a budget title. So but yeah, that's basically it, guys. I don't want to ramble on too long because there's going to be 3 more Let's Plays for this game. So again, I'm going to do the next chapter. Not sure when that'll be, but just stay tuned. And if you're new to my channel, feel free to subscribe and keep in touch, and I'll have the other parts sometime in the future. So until next time, guys, take care.